In 1982, a sponge diver off the coast of Turkey went underwater and never expected what he found. A shipwreck, 3,000 years old, sitting at the bottom of the sea. And when researchers pulled up what was inside, they found something that should have been impossible. Products from 6 completely different civilizations. Civilizations that, according to every history book, should never have known each other existed. This one ship rewrote everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. And most people have never heard of it. Think about the last time you ordered something from another country. You bought it online. It arrived at your door in a week. You did not think twice about it. Now imagine doing that 3,000 years ago. No internet, no phones, no maps of the world. Just a wooden ship and open ocean. We were told ancient people stayed close to home. That long-distance trade was a modern invention. That civilizations on opposite sides of the world had no idea the other existed. This shipwreck proved every single one of those ideas wrong. In one afternoon, the ship is called the Uluburun wreck. It was found near Kaz on the southern coast of Turkey in 1982. A local sponge diver spotted metal objects on the seabed at 40 meters deep. He reported it to authorities. And what followed was one of the most important underwater excavations in history. Texas A&M University archaeologist Simal Pulak led the dig. It took 11 years and over 20,000 dives to recover everything. What they brought up was extraordinary. 10 tons of copper ingots, 1 ton of tin ingots, enough metal to equip an entire army, glass ingots from Egypt, ebony logs from Africa, resin from trees that only grow in Syria, spices from the Middle East, pottery from Cyprus and Canaan, weapons from Greece, jewelry from Egypt, personal items from at least 6 completely different cultures. All on one ship, all traveling together, 3,000 years ago. Now think about what that actually means. For those 6 civilizations to all have goods on one ship, they had to know each other. They had to have agreements. They had to have trusted trading relationships that had been going on for years, maybe decades. The Egyptians knew the Mycenaean Greeks. The Canaanites knew the Cypriots. The Syrians were supplying materials to people thousands of miles away. This was not accidental contact. This was a fully organized international trading network, operating smoothly and regularly 3,000 years ago. And here is what stopped researchers cold. One of the items found on the ship was a writing tablet, a folding wooden diptych, the oldest folding book ever found. It was hinged with ivory. The wax writing surface inside had been scraped clean before the ship sank, so we cannot read what was written on it. But the fact that it existed tells us something enormous. Somebody on that ship was keeping written records, contracts, documents, trade agreements. 3,000 years ago, merchants were doing paperwork, just like every business in the world does today. But here is the moment that stops everyone. Among everything pulled from that wreck, researchers found a scarab, a small carved stone seal, used in ancient Egypt as a symbol of identity and authority. And this scarab belonged to Nefertiti, Queen Nefertiti, wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten, one of the most powerful women in ancient Egyptian history. Her personal scarab was on a trading ship off the coast of Turkey 3,000 years ago. Think about what that means. This was not just merchants trading copper and tin. This was royalty involved in international trade. The most powerful people in Egypt were sending their personal items on ships crossing the Mediterranean, which means ancient global trade was not just happening. It was happening at the highest levels of government. Kings and queens were personally involved, and the network was so established and so trusted that royal items traveled freely across the ancient world. Nobody thought twice about it, because it was completely normal to them. But here is what most people miss about this story. The ship sank. Something went wrong on that journey, and nobody knows what. There was no storm damage found on the wreck, no signs of attack, no weapons fired. The cargo was intact and undisturbed. The ship just went down, and stayed down for 3,000 years, which means somewhere in the ancient world, people were waiting for this ship to arrive. Merchants expecting their copper, kings waiting for their glass, craftsmen waiting for their tin, and it never came. Whatever agreements had been made, whatever promises had been given, whatever deals had been signed in that wooden writing tablet, they all ended at the bottom of the sea off the coast of Turkey. And nobody in the ancient world ever knew what happened to it. Until a sponge diver went looking for sea sponges in 1982 and accidentally found 3,000 years of lost history sitting on the ocean floor. We were taught that ancient people were isolated, that they stayed in their own lands, that they had no idea what existed beyond the horizon. The Uluburun wreck says otherwise. 3,000 years ago, humans were crossing seas, building relationships with strangers, trading with people who spoke different languages and worshipped different gods. They were doing something that we consider modern. They were connecting, and they were doing it so naturally, so regularly, and so confidently that a queen sent her personal seal on a ship to another civilization without a second thought. The ancient world was not small and isolated. It was enormous and deeply connected. And we are only just beginning to understand how connected it really was. If you think that is strange, wait until you hear how ancient humans dealt with grief before therapy or religion existed. We found evidence from over 100,000 years ago, and what was inside changes how you see every human being alive today. Watch this next.